Yo, welcome back to the channel. This 85 C10 that we've been working on the last couple weeks is in desperate need of an interior. It needs door panels, it needs trim, a dashboard, a radio, a headliner, switches, a seat. Pretty much everything except for the carpet is going to be replaced in this video using the parts I gathered on the table over here, most of which came from LMC Truck. Let's get at it. So we'll start with the dashboard. There's 4 screws, well, supposed to be 4 screws on the bottom and 1 on the side. We only have 1 right here, and it's not even in there. Now that the dash is loose, the bezel is the only thing holding it in. There's just a bunch of screws around it. Now the dash should be able to come out. I'm going to take out this clear lens here in front of the gauges. I got a new one of those. This little stem to adjust the time on the clock is in my way. I don't know how to get rid of that. I guess we'll just unplug it, figure that out on the workbench. Take out this turn signal lever, you just have to pull on it. Pops right out. Next, I need to get all this red trim out of here so I can get painting it so it can start drying. It looks pretty straightforward. Looks like everything's just held in by screws. Sun visor's coming out too. Now we got all that trim out, this headliner should be able to drop. Oh, you know what? Yep. There's a couple screws in the light here. Well, that's rigged up. Good to know. That's dumb. Anyway, now we should be good. Oh, go ahead and get these dash speakers out. Get this fuel tank switch out of here, because hopefully that's all it takes to fix the dual tanks. Just use the switch. It's not even plugged in. No wonder it didn't frickin' work. Jeez. Oh, I lied. There's more. There's what's left of the switch. I'll just leave that till I'm ready to put the new one in. Last thing to do for our teardown is pull off the old steering wheel. Pop that center cap off. Get our puller set up here. Jesus. That scared the crap out of me. Okay, before we do anything else, I'm going to start painting all these interior panels black. That way they can start getting dry and we'll be ready to install them. First, I'm going to hit them with some adhesion promoter, and then we'll hit them with the black paint. Well, I wish I would have been filming that. I was messing with the headlight switch here. I just pulled it out, made sure the wires were tight, and put it right back in, and now we have dash lights, which we didn't before, so I don't know what I did, but so I'm just wiggling a wire harness back there. And as you can see, something ain't right. Don't touch it. Replace one more bulb really quick. I'm just happy that it kind of works. Disassembly is complete. What I'm going to do now is spend a good bit of time cleaning everything, vacuuming, wiping it down, everything like that. Nice and clean in there, looks good. So now is going to be the time to do some wiring because everything is apart and easily accessible. So the first thing we're going to do, put in these relay harness kits from LMC Truck for the window motors. From the factory, these windows are really slow. And just to give you an idea, I got a brand new battery in there and I just replaced the window motor. You can just see, oh, that's the lock. You can just see how slow they are. And that is because the window motor is actually pulling power from the switch itself. So that's what the LMC relay kit is for. It'll take power directly from the battery and go right to the motor, and then using relays to control the switch. So first we're going to mount the relays using the armrest bracket here. Now this comes with some pretty detailed instructions, and they make it really easy because they made their wires brown and blue to match the brown and blue factory wires. So I'm gonna get all this wired up and then I'll check back in. Got it all wired and cleaned up. I know it looks like a jumbled mess, but I promise it's pretty straightforward. These wires run through the ducting, and through here I use this piece of steel cable, send it through. Pretty easy to do. So I'm gonna clean this up, leave some slack in here. We're gonna run it under the dash, and I'm gonna zip tie it, tuck it up there nicely. Then we're gonna run it through the firewall on the passenger side. We'll meet up with the other wires that are over there from this door that I already did. And here we are on the other side. Got all 4 wires coming together right here. And then peel back the carpet. There's a hole right there. Got the wire. I got the steel wire fed through there already. I fed it through quite a bit, so hopefully it's somewhere in the engine bay that I can see pretty easily. Yep, here it is. Okay, so the hole isn't near big enough for all of them to go through at once, but if I do it one at a time, we'll be all right. Got all 4 wires routed through the hole. I'm gonna throw this kick panel back on just so that's out of the way and I can get these wires tucked up however I need to. Got everything wired up, tucked away, got the fuses in there, I think, and then attached to the battery. Now let's test it and see what kind of difference it made. Key on. Still bogs down a little bit, but definitely a lot better. Nice.
Okay, I just cleaned that.
The next wiring thing on the list is getting this retro sound radio installed. I did some pre-assembly on it last night. None of this was on. Using the hole locations on the new bezel, I kind of just set these somewhat where they're supposed to be. I'd say the first thing to do is get these tabs bent back out. Looks like someone bent them in at one point. Hopefully they don't just break off. All right, let's bring the radio in and see how it lines up. All right, that actually lines up pretty good. But we're gonna wait to install this until the dashboard and the bezel is back in. That way we know the depth to put the knobs at. So for now, we're just gonna worry about the wiring. So I'm gonna take this back out. I found all this wiring in the dash. I'm assuming this is for some aftermarket junk, and we'll get rid of that. All right, I thought this wiring was gonna be difficult, but I think I got it figured. So we just need 12-volt constant, 12-volt switched, and a ground. And here's what I found. This was part of that mess that came out of the dash. This is the 12-volt constant. Key is off right now, and if I use my test light, you can see it always has power. So that's our constant. These are the speaker wires. I know this because in each corner where each speaker is, they all use different colors. So we have tan and brown here in the driver's side, and then green and green over there, the 2 yellows in the back right corner, and then the 2 blues behind me here, and then they all run to the front. Right there. These 3 wires, I'm not sure what they do, but they were also with that mess. And the yellow wire is going to be our 12-volt switched. It doesn't light up when the key is off, but as soon as we turn on the key, it lights up. And then I'm thinking this black is a ground. I don't know what the gray wire does. And then our antenna's up here, which will just plug into the back of the radio. So here's our harness for all the speakers, and then here's the power harness, and then both of those plug into here, and then this plugs into the radio. So I'm gonna get working on that, and then I'll show you when I'm done. Got all them wires hooked up and taped, plugged into the main harness. This goes into the radio, like I was showing you. So we'll tuck that out of the way. Now let's install all the speakers, and that'll be it for wiring. Here are the dash speakers. Looks like I'm gonna have to reuse the old bracket because the new one doesn't match in any way. The rear speakers are held inside of these housings. And all the speakers are ready. Just one thing to point out is looking at the new ones versus the stock, the connectors are different on both of them. So let me show you what I did. I just wired up some of these flat connectors, female ones, on all the corners. So we're good to go, we're ready to install. All 4 speakers are in, and I went ahead and put in the new turn signal stalk and the fuel tank switch because I just want to be done with wiring. All the trim panels should be good and dry now. So we'll start putting those back in, starting with the new headliner. Got that new headliner in, plus all the new black plastic that we painted. Looks pretty good. Sun visors and seat belts are still red, but that's just one of them things. Now let's put the new dashboard in. We'll start by putting in our new lens. Hi, babe.
Hello. Is this supposed to be recording?
Yeah. Much more boring in real life. Hey, is there a little screw with a hex head in that random pile? Just like a tiny little screw. None of them have hex heads? None. Alright, that's fine. I doubt it needs to be tight right there anyway. Babe, can you give me the black piece? I don't know. What's the point of this thing? Was I supposed to put this on before all the screws? Yep. Then we got our new vent we'll put in here. Boy, that gets bolted from the inside. Dashboard coming in. Get it screwed down. All right, I already test fitted the bezel and I got the radio installed. Now we'll install it for good. New bezel is in along with the radio. Me and Courtney are going to throw the seat in right now. That's what I mean. Like, we'll come in this way and then you just like
waddle in.
Waddle in.
All right. Come on, let me grab it in here. Hang on a second.
I ain't pushing it. Be easy.
You want to do it?
I'll just tell you when.
I strip everything
that's good.
Okay.
You need a ratcheting wrench. Make sure you look what size you need first. You're the one that has
I
it.
figured you would tell me because you knew.
You have the thing.
You put the thing on the thing.
1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
All right, steering wheel's done. Check it out. Now we're gonna get these door panels on. First, we're gonna replace the handles. Get a shiny new one on there. Clicks into place. All right, we'll get these old switches off of here, and then we'll be ready for the door panel. Now for the door panel, I got everything installed already, the trim and the switches. So we'll get those plugged in first. They're ready to go. Now we can hang the door panel. That'll do. Get a couple of these screws started. Get the chrome bezel on there next. I'll have to pull that panel off another time and see why it's not fitting. Get our little lock stem on there. Seal the deal. Well guys, sometimes it gets a little bit frustrating doing these projects, especially when you try and get a whole bunch done in one day like I did. So it's actually the next weekend, but I got it all together now. I ended up taking the door panels completely back off, and to get these bezels to fit, I actually secured them first, and then they fit fine on both sides. So that's good to go. The doors are completely done. A couple things on the interior that I rushed through a little bit, just trying to get it done. One of which being the steering wheel. Did not get the horn hooked up. Radio, everything works. Radio works fine. It's just not secured from the back, so it's a little bit loose in there. This vent right here, there's supposed to be little spacers on each side. I forgot to put in, so that's all loose. Dome light doesn't work. The wires aren't even connected because they corroded off. So I gotta fix that eventually. Other than that though, the interior is done. It's looking really nice in here. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Down the road here, I'm gonna make another video on tying up some of these loose ends, but that's for another day. Let me know what you guys think of this interior. I think it looks pretty sweet. That is gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.